playing? Can you see the video playing? Okay, cool. So we'll go ahead and start. I just want to open up with this video, and then we'll kind of go around the room and give some introductions. But this little video will help kind of explain really quickly what VisionCoders is, and it might showcase some of our VisionCoders this school year and answer some initial questions you might have and of your interest in the program. So I'll go ahead and kick us off that way. All right, so that's just a brief overview of kind of what the program is, and I can share that with you again later if you want, but it's a fun little video that we got to put together with some of our students, and definitely wanted to showcase that. But I wanted to say welcome to all of our friends joining us today. I see that we might have some folks pop in and out of the call, and it's an informal kind of, not really a webinar, but I guess a little bit of an information session. So I'd kind of like to start off with just introducing who's in the room, and if you have any burning questions because you have to jump off the call. Otherwise, I have some slides to go over to kind of paint the picture a little bit more about our program and what it is and how we can get started at your school if you're interested. So I'm Dr. Stephanie Garcia. I'm the STEM and Gender Equity Education Associate at IDRA and the Project Director for VisionCoders. I'll pass it along to Dr. Redfield. You want to say hi to everyone in the room? You're one of our partners.
Hi, yes, I am Carol Redfield, Chair of Computer Science at St. Mary's University, and I've had the privilege of being able to help put the curriculum together. One of my research areas is educational computer gaming, so I get to bring everything, all of it together into thinking through what the teachers need to present and what the students need to do and how they need to take care of their little gamers.
Absolutely, and you're doing a fabulous job. We're so grateful for your leadership and expertise in computer science.
And I've had students, I forgot, and I've had computer science students come to be mentors for the kids too.
Yes, they come often and get feedback on our student projects, and we're just so grateful for that. That's a really important part of project-based learning and design thinking, is getting feedback from experts like computer science majors from a university, so and a professor as well. So thank you so much. And we're also blessed to have one of our advisory board members on the call. Mr. Uribe, would you like to present yourself and say hi? I know you might be busy, but just since you're here.
Yep, I'm good. I'm all ears. My name is Javier Uribe. I'm the STEM coordinator at Edgewood Independent School District. And I've been on VisionCoders already since before, I guess, pre-COVID, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And he's been giving us incredible feedback along the way of what's really practical with that district perspective and the classroom experiences and students and teachers. So we've been so happy to have his expertise in the room and as a part of this grant project. Yeah, since it was literally on the pages, it hasn't flown off the pages at that point yet. So very excited. And Ms. Contreras, Monica, thank you so much for joining. Hi, would you like to say hi to the group?
Hello.
And what district is that? I'm sorry, my screen is so little.
Ector County ISD.
Oh, wonderful. Great. Absolutely. So excited to have you on the call. Welcome. We're so happy to have you with us. And if nobody has any burning questions before you jump off the call, I'll go ahead and progress through a couple introductory slides just to give you a little bit more information about this program and how we can make it available with your students. So as part of an EIR grant, with Department of Education, we have this 5-year grant to pay for these incredible opportunities to be made available at your school. And specifically, this is for 8th grade students with this grant project in at-risk situations. And they're learning a code, VisionCoders. They're learning how to code by creating games for pre-K through 1st graders. So early childhood education, which we know, especially through COVID, they need the resources, right? They need that mentorship as well as as younger children is very important to as a SEL, but also STEM, right? Getting them involved in STEM learning at an early age is really important as well. So that's who VisionCoders are, and we say buddies to represent the younger children in their school communities that they design these games for and build relationships with throughout the school year. So we at IDRA, if you're familiar with our organization, for 50 years now, we've been advocating for educational equity for all students, and we're really passionate about broadening participation in STEM. So this program specifically looks at that, it addresses that, and then narrows it down from STEM, which is so broad, to computer science pathways. And so we we aim to have this leadership development part of the course, VisionCoders, where we're developing a sense of responsibility, knowing that when students are given that leadership role, they rise to the challenge, right? They engage deeply with the projects that will have a direct impact on the community in which they live in, which is very meaningful. It's culturally responsiveness and action, and then educating students on computational skills, computer science skills and the content part through meaningful experiences, not just kind of rote memorization, but something that's very much connected to them in a project-based way, which is a very, very much a research-based approach and a best practice in STEM teaching and education. And then encouraging students, right, to foster that computing identity and interest, and giving them an opportunity to be recognized for all their hard work throughout the school year through a software exhibition or like an end of year showcase to inspire today's youth to continue to pursue after the 8th grade year, pursue that high school pathway in their school community, whatever that might look like, and supporting them through that whole pipeline off to college and careers. So that's the goal of our program. And we do this in partnership. IDRA does this in partnership with TEMUSA, with St. Mary's University. We've got a lot of local partners here as part of our STEM ecosystem in San Antonio, Texas, called the Alamo STEM ecosystem. And all of this, again, is in response to a grant. If you don't know about the EIR grant, so it's a research grant. So we're really looking at how does this curriculum, this opportunity, this approach, how does this impact students' computational thinking skills? How does it increase their math skills? Because we know that logic and reasoning and computational thinking is actually a part of algebra and a lot of their reasoning and their STAR math test if you break down the categories as well. So we're really excited to see also how this impacts their math skills and readiness as well. And of course, looking at the SEL components, which is so important right now in schools more than ever after COVID. Again, we have an awesome advisory board member here, and we have several other computer science educators, and we have workforce with HEB represented as well in our advisory board. And we have TEMUSA, St. Mary's, and an IDRA designing this incredible curriculum that's been through this pilot year has really taken great strides. We had a whole year to develop the curriculum, to build relationship with the school districts and see what this course could look like implemented in the school year. And we just are wrapping up our pilot year phase this school year. And we're gearing up for 2 more full school years that we will collect data on as well. So we are, as part of this grant, we will be recruiting at least 12 middle schools here in our city. But there's also opportunities to collaborate, in different ways outside of this grant, still with VisionCoders. And then also, once we're finished with this grant, there's just so many possibilities of how we can adopt this as well. But for this grant purpose, we are looking at middle school, 8th grade, and looking for a year-long elective course. So it's not a club, it's not in 6th grade or all middle grades, it's specifically 8th grade. It's a year-long elective course, and we have teacher training that I'll talk about in a little bit. I'm going to fast forward through some slides, but what's really crucial about this program is it's modeled after the Valued Youth Partnership Program at IDRA. So if you're familiar with the VYP program, it's been around for over 30 years, I believe. And it's very similar to that. Instead of the tutors tutoring the tutees with, math flashcards or read alouds for English and building those math and literacy skills in a hands-on kind of tutoring way, this is flipping it to a digital format where they're designing games and building and learning to be software designers and programmers, using Scratch and code.org to code and build games for their mentees, their younger students in elementary school. And we've got our equity lens in all of this. We're searching for those, leaning into those asset-based practices, and ensuring that we have those high expectations, that we're involving our parents, our families, and they're part of the program too, very much so. And again, just leaning into those best practices in STEM education as well. I'll skim down to some successes that we've had. So we've been in South San Antonio ISD school district. We've been in 2 middle schools this pilot year, at Dwight and Kazin Middle School. And it's been great. We've gotten to know the families, the community. We've had incredible teachers as part of the VisionCoders program that we've trained throughout the summer before the school year. And then throughout the school year, we have PLC meetings with them. And what's been really cool is some parents saying and sharing how this opportunity will help them kind of put them in the right direction for what they want to be in the future. So this parent here was talking about how their child actually wanted to be a computer engineer and has expressed that for a long time. So she was really excited about this opportunity for her child to be in a year-long computer science class like VisionCoders. And she's really excited about what that future could look like for her son. And so, as I mentioned, we work intently with the schools, the communities, the teachers. We have our guest speakers that come in person to talk about STEM CS careers. We've got our college mentors. Dr. Redfield brings her students along, and we're really happy about that because that mentorship for our VisionCoder student is important to us. And we want to make sure that they have connections to college and career and can ask those questions and, form their identity and see where their niche is in STEM and CS. One thing that we piloted this year was taking them on a field trip. Which wasn't necessarily written into the grant, but we wanted to see what would it be like if we had all of our students on a college campus. And thankfully, our partner at St. Mary's said, bring them over here because there's awesome STEM things that we want your students to see. And it was really cool because it was their first time for many of the students to ever be on a college campus like that and to eat in the cafeteria with other college students and professors and to be in a college course and listen to part of a lecture and ask the college students questions, and really see STEM CS across the board because it's a really wide career field, right? So looking at esports, looking at drones and how you can code your drone to fly autonomously. And so seeing all these different applications in makerspace and computer engineering, it was really, really an incredible experience at the start of the school year that helped them kind of frame that mindset throughout the rest of the school year. And then, as I mentioned before, our VisionCoder students go to the elementary campus that we're partnered with once a month to showcase the games that they've been working on for a whole month for their buddy. So they make a relationship with their buddy. They know what grade they're in, kind of what they're able to do independently. And they create math and reading games for them using code.org and Scratch. And it's been really fun to see them build a relationship with their buddies each month. It's something that both parties look forward to. And it's really cool to see the buddies just kind of take hold of that Chromebook, just run with that game and play and learn along the way as they're playing, which is really, really fun. And I have some videos to show you as well. I think right here, we have a really great example. We have a vision coder that's in a bilingual classroom, and she's pairing up her game with some kind of off-screen approach, a teaching approach, and then going back to the screen to her game. And I'll show a couple of clips to really help you visualize what vision coders do and what they prepare for and what a buddy visit looks like.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Aquí la palabra 12, 13, 14, 14. Son 14. Aquí ponen 14. 14. Ahora 5 más 1. No. 5, ¿qué es 5 más 1? Que aquí cuentan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. 6. Okay, a ver, 6. Good job. It's really good.
So there's one clip where she was teaching kind of on screen and off screen. And then here we can see another game. It's a little hard to see, but he's moving his sprite through this obstacle course. And if he hits one of or falls into the pit, or hits the enemy or whatever in the game, then a pop-up comes up for him to answer a question. And then and so here you can see the child going through the obstacle course that the Vision Coders made for them.
Good job. Good job.
So that was one. That was when he won. He struggled a bit. There was a lot of back and forth before that video, but it was really cool to see the smile on his face when he finally persisted through, because some of the games can be quite challenging. And this last one here. And this one here, there's a prompt that he has to respond to, and he has to type in his response to see if it's right. And so that's part of this game here. And you can see the setting, in the background, there's a whole class happening, right? There's a whole class for that pre-K or first grade class. And so the vision coders are pulled into small groups with their buddies. And that's what they'll do. They'll sit in the small groups at the technology station or wherever it might be appropriate in the classroom setting. And they'll work with the student on that math or the reading skills through the game. And so that helps maybe paint the picture a little bit better of what the students are preparing for and then what they're doing with their buddy. Are there any questions so far that I can answer? And it's been, I have to say, by March, it's been really neat to see how much more complex the games are now. In the very beginning, right? The Vision Coders games were very simple, not too much happening. And then now we're seeing some really cool complexities, like this picnic game that Joanna created is one of my favorites, because you can see that she's building a whole storyline. Vision Coders through the curriculum are using storyboards and kind of mapping out the storyline for their games before they even start building. So there's a whole design process that happens with this, right, in the background. And here there's a whole plot of, okay, you're going on a picnic. What do you want to bring? I'll select what I want. And then as I'm at the cashier is going to ask me questions, and now we get to the dollars and cents and the math part. So it's been really cool to see the progression of their games again, to these new events and new screens and backgrounds and new characters, and way more complex than what we started with in the very beginning of the school year. And all of these games that they're building are put into a digital portfolio IDRA has purchased Schoology for this program using the grant money so that we can have a nice learning management system to hold not just the curriculum, but also be a space where they can build digital portfolios and share them with others at the end of year showcase. And so students are working on, from really March to May, they're now done with their 8 buddy visits that they've made to their elementary campuses. And now they're working on building a nice reflection piece to reflect on what they've learned this school year, to have all of their products in one place for others to see and get feedback on. And we'll be using this as a key part of their presentations at the end of year showcase. So that feedback, again, is just wrapped in throughout, and super important to this program, and the reflection components as well. So we have modules that students can go through on Schoology where they're able to learn a little bit more about some different coding principles and storyboarding and characters and all these different components. We kind of build in some direct teach moments through the modules to just kind of reset everybody and get everybody on the same page, because some students have had 0 experience with computer science and gaming, and others have had some, maybe through a club like robotics or something. So these modules have been super helpful to kind of help set the stage, especially through our Scratch. Our first semester we used Scratch, MIT Scratch, and that's really helpful because it's the click and drag coding, and it helps them kind of get started. And then code.org, now they're all transitioned into code.org CS Discoveries for Unit 3 on animations and games, and now they're all learning how to write code, and that's been really helpful for them as they're learning to code games that way too. This is a little peek at what the course looks like. It kind of looks like Blackboard, or it could, it's very comparable to Google Classroom as well. But what I liked is here I can kind of pair up the parents with the student as well, so the parents could see the students' work throughout the school year. We can all direct message each other through here, so it's a nice communication platform. It's got the digital portfolio aspect that's built into this, and I love that it has all immersive reader tools. So students can read in Spanish, they can have the directions being read out loud to them. So as far as accommodations, it's been really a helpful tool for us in VisionCoders. What VisionCoders doesn't look like, it doesn't look like a computer lab where everybody's just sitting at a screen and that's what it looks like for 45 minutes. That's not what it looks like. We try to lean into the best practices for teaching in this way, pair programming, where they're paired up with a small group and they're learning how to code together, and they're getting feedback from each other, and they're exploring coding principles together. So that's really important to us. I'll skip through because I want to really open it up for questions and answers, but we've got to talk about our awesome college mentors and all of our buddy visits. And what we're working towards, again, is that end of year showcase. That's what we're doing right now. And, really excited to build this into, as we expand next school year, having a larger, almost like a STEM expo built into it, where we have lots of partners and booths and vendors there, where everybody can learn a little bit about coding that night and make it a whole school community event, where it's not just celebrating the students' accomplishments, but also engaging family members, younger siblings, and external partners can come to, again, all be engaged with a cool computer science night at their campuses. So that's a little bit about VisionCoders. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about the program, anything I can review or go back to if I skimmed over it too quickly. But really, this information session is just to tell you a little bit about the program and to answer any questions you might have about what it could look like at your school community. Ms. Contreras, do you have any questions? I know you're in West Texas, but VisionCoders could definitely go all the way to West Texas.
No, I don't have any questions at the, well, I guess the only thing that pops in my mind is
is this set up as like a club organization, or is it set up as an elective on campus, or how do you create this group of students, or how do you choose your group of students to participate in this program? And then how is it implemented on campus, like as an elective or like an after school club, or how do they get together?
For sure. So this is great question. This is definitely an in-school year-long elective course. So we've had opportunities to come to, like, especially for this spring for the next school year, we've been invited to come to like elective fair night. You know how some school districts will have like choice sheets, you know, for students and families to fill in together, where we're able to talk about VisionCoders and invite and just kind of pique interest at the campus level. But because, again, we're kind of going into, let me go back to that one slide, with very much like the VYP program. I don't know where that one document went, but looking at, here it is, students who are in at-risk situations. So there's indicators for that. I think there's like 7 different indicators. I can pull them back up again. So if the student, for example, has a free reduced lunch, if they have like a high absentee situation happening, they would meet one or more. They don't have to meet all of the at-risk indicators, but if they meet one of them, that's what we're really hoping to do is again, provide this opportunity for them so that they have an opportunity to be a leader and demonstrate those leadership skills. When sometimes students who are you know, meeting one or more of those at-risk indicators, sometimes they're kind of seen as a problem, and sometimes they're tracked out of classes like this and opportunities like this. And we don't want to perpetuate that. We want to make sure, right, that we have those students in this class so that they can kind of rise to the occasion and have that opportunity to lead. And already we've seen some positive outcomes of school belonging and connectedness increasing for students. They get excited to come to school. They get excited to go visit their buddies and work towards that, and go on field trips and have these really cool experiences. So it is definitely in school. We did have, during our pilot year, we had 2 campuses try it out in the after school setting, and it went well. But the hard thing was, like, logistically, elementaries end before middle school, right? So like going to have a buddy visit, that wasn't really practical for them. So it ended up being more of them learning how to game and create games, which is great. But that connection to the elementary school is kind of missing because, you know, they were already out of school for the most part. And then trying to get to the elementary school was hard after school. Now, what we have had is, I'm trying to find that buddy slide. So for our buddy visits, one school is physically, one middle school, Dwight Middle School, is really close to their partner elementary school. They can just like walk because it's like down the street. So during 3rd period, they'll put their bags down, they'll grab their Chromebooks, and they'll go walk just behind the gate. They have a shared kind of gate in the back, and then they go to their elementary school, and they're able to go for that period and then walk back and then go return their Chromebook and then go to their next period. So it happens within one class period, just like VYP. VYP is scheduled the same way. And then one of these schools, both the valued youth partners, the VYP students and the VisionCoder students, both are in those classes during 3rd period. And so they'll get a long bus for all of them, and they'll go to their partner elementary school, and then they'll come right back. So they're a little late to their next period, but they still have around the same amount of time, about 15 to 20 minutes in that small group setting with their buddy. So it happens really quickly. That's why they have a month to really time that and prepare it and rehearse it and make sure that everything's set. And then I do a lot of stuff in the background to work with the partnered elementary school, like the counselor or the principal, depends who's part of that implementation team. And we make sure all the teachers know in advance and the buddies are there. And there's a lot of coordination, but it's really beautiful to see them together, and it's worth the effort for sure for them to come and see them from September to about March. We try to wait for August, wait for the dust to settle after everyone's gotten back to school. And then we end right before STAR testing at both the elementary and middle school levels, just so they can focus on that. And logistically, everything changes too at the campus. So That's a little bit about that. But we're open, after this grant, we're really open to any kind of iteration of this to support the campus needs. So we can entertain a club or whatever might be suitable for the schools that are interested. But it's been working out really well as the class period. Some districts are going to try actually having one teacher teach multiple class sections of VisionCoders. So I'm interested to see what that will look like because that hasn't happened yet. Where right now we have like one VisionCoder teacher that has like a class of 30 VisionCoder students or 20 VisionCoder students. But to have multiple class periods of VisionCoders, I'm interested to see what that looks like for sure. So we're open to any possibility. Every school is different. Every district's different. So we're flexible. That's a great question though. And I don't know if I talked about it enough, but we have teacher training in the summer built in. So we've got 3 weeks of teacher training. We've got 2 weeks, the model that we've been using for this grant. We've had 2 weeks of in-person training from Monday to Thursday, 9 to 3 at Timusa at the university level. And we have teachers get paid upon their completion. They're not just, getting paid for their time for being a part of the summer training, but they also, throughout the school year, are part of that PLC. They're refining the curriculum too. They're giving us our, feedback on what's working, what's not working. They're great advocates and mentors for our students and really helpful coordinators at the school level. So we want to make sure that they receive that stipend for their time and their efforts. So their summer training is 2 weeks in person, Monday through Thursday, 9 to 3. And then that third week is virtual. It's completely online because we have different training on the platform like Schoology, which takes a while to learn and get used to. And some of the online technical assistant training that we have that last week. So that's been extremely helpful because sometimes we have teachers who are theater arts teachers who volunteer to lead as a VisionCoders teacher because they like coding. But their training and maybe field placements in their teacher preparation program, right, is very specific sometimes to the content. And so this is something entirely new for many folks. And so this has been a really helpful part, is having a really great curriculum for our professional development and making sure it's meaningful and supportive. We'll have our returning teachers come back and help kind of co-teach the training for the next cohort and to give their expert feedback, since they are the most experienced in the room of leading this out with their students. So they know what's worked best for them, and they've made maybe some alterations that they would love to share out to with others who might have similar student population or student needs. And so we're really excited to have our teachers return as well, and to be like a mentor for the other teachers in that professional learning community. Great. Any other? I know Javier and Carol, they already know the program in and through. So, but I'll go ahead and if there's no more questions, I can stop the recording and we can, of course.
Before you do, to talk about the support that's available for the teachers throughout the school year, like you have a monthly meeting and
absolutely. I think that's really important. So we have, I try to model after some successful PLC models where, having a moment to reflect. As a previous classroom teacher, things get so busy and hectic, and sometimes you don't have time to reflect on your own practice and how things are going. And so the monthly PLC is just a brief hour call, virtual meeting online where we can check in after school one day that month, and we can say, hey, what's going well, right? what have we accomplished so far, and kind of review our year at a glance to see kind of where we all are, because every school is going to be off on different pacing, and that's cool. But to really, they'll sometimes prepare little clips and photos to show us like what's happening in their classrooms, just so that we can celebrate the successes that are happening in the classroom. And then sometimes I'll have, a moment where they need help with something. So I'll provide some just-in-time training, like, oh, that's a quick fix, let me show you. And then everybody's learning from each other, and I'm able to kind of provide technical assistance training. Maybe it was something on Schoology, or something that they have a question about using Scratch or code.org, that we can all jump in, not just myself, but also the other teachers can all jump in and provide support. And then also, we'll kind of take the pulse on how things are going with just overall programmatically, with the buddy visits, with the curriculum. What needs our attention for us to jump on, and then I can have a follow-up call or a one-to-one meeting on something in more depth later. And then we look ahead of where are we heading to. Let's look back at our year at a glance and see where we're all headed at, and see what's coming up with holidays and assessment schedules that happen at different schools, and we can kind of look and plan for what's coming ahead. So it's a lot to cover in an hour, but it's been extremely helpful to just everybody get back in the same room for just a little bit of time, and really get a lot done together. So those monthly PLC calls have been truly, truly helpful. Thanks for bringing that up, Dr. Redfield.
And I know you've gone in on certain days too, and
yeah. So sometimes they'll look at a lesson and be like, I just don't know what that really looks like, or I don't really know how to teach that, or I'm having trouble with this particular unit. And I'll go in and I'll co-teach with the teachers. So I'll go in with them, and the students all know me very well. I pop in all the time, and I'll help lead a lesson, and kind of that's a helpful tool for teachers, because you don't always get to see other teachers teach when you're a teacher, right? So it's helpful to get a different perspective and to see someone else do things a certain way that you can learn from and adapt for your own approach. And so that's been really, really helpful. I'll come in and get them all logged in the beginning of the school year, just to help with logins and making sure everyone has access. And then when we transition mid-year to code.org, I do that again, almost like a little mini orientation of, oh, okay, we did Scratch and we love Scratch, but this is what code.org is. And I'll come in and help on those orientation days to support teachers and making sure everyone has their login for that platform. And I just recently went in and did a lesson at both campuses around portfolios. What is a portfolio? Why do we have one? How can we create one and organize it on Schoology? And I'll be doing that again closer to the end of the year after testing is over, so that we can make sure that they all have student presentations in the classroom and they get to practice presenting their work. So really excited to see that one. Really looking forward to that. That's my favorite time, is going in. And I've gone to almost everybody visit too, because I just love seeing the program in action and seeing what's happening in the elementary schools. It's been really rewarding. Well, I hope that gave everyone a good overview. I hope it painted a picture for you to know what the program's all about. And if you have any other questions, I'll copy and paste my email in the chat. But it's just stephanie.garcia at idra.org. So you can feel free to contact me anytime. And as well, reach out to us on all of our platforms. You'll see lots of things promoted around the VisionCoders program again at the end of the year, when we celebrate their work at the end of year showcase. So stay tuned to that.